Gut. Sollen meine und deine Sonnen also wissen von sehr Leben, wie meine Töchter wissen, was sie reden. My enemies, your enemies, they should know about they should know in their life as much as my daughter knows what she's talking about. Mischt sich herein die Mama Gute. That's what Meryl's mother Gute uh, uh, interjects.
Isn't Gutta the sister?
Yeah, Gute is the sister, right? So the Mama Gute, okay, her mother, the one who's just been speaking, um, it's her mother Gute, who is Meryl's sister, right? Ich stelle sich nicht vor, als auf der Welt soll sich gefinden ein leidlicher Mensch, was soll halten von Mordsim. I imagine that in the entire world, there is uh, nowhere a an upstanding person who would think highly of Moritz. Nicht umsist is geblieben an alter Wocher. It's not for nothing that he has remained unmarried. Ich wollte der ganze Welt reingelacht in Ponem. I would laugh in the face of the whole world. So tut sich Zelda a Stelle weg inmitten Cheder. Zelda uh, uh, steps back in the middle of the room. Zu beweisen, wie sie wollte sich gestellt gegen der ganze Welt. Uh, 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 she steps back to show how she would stand in the face of the entire world. Mit der Mann lebt man aus die Jahren und von seitige Menschen hat man gar nicht, äußer was sie bereden. With one's husband, one lives out the years. And people on the side, you say nothing about them except was sie bereden, except to slander them or as much as they slander, I'm not sure. Ich sehe doch, wie die Mumme hat ausgeführt. I see how Auntie, that's Meryl, has managed. Okay, who's speaking now? This is Fredka, I think. Yeah, this is another one of the nieces, Fredka. Wenn ein Mann geht nach einer Frau, so viel Jahren wie viel Moritz ist noch gegangen der Mumme Meryl. When a man follows a woman so many years as Moritz has followed Auntie Meryl, Megman sein sicher, as ist verliebt, afenemis. You can be sure that he's really in love. Is Fredka dasmal maskim mit der Schwester. For once, Fredka agreed with her sisters, with her sister. Nur zu gewöhnen sich zu jedem Jüngel und nach dem Leiden, Zeit kränken sie. But to become accustomed to every boy and then to be sorrowful, it's time that they should be ill. I think this is Fredka who is complaining about her sisters falling in love with every youngster that she meets. Meryl hat geschmeichelt, zu verstellen ihr Zertumlenisch. Meryl smiled to hide her confusion. Weißt du es, als sie es scheine verzeitige, versteht sie nicht die heintige Mädlich. It appears that she's already old-fashioned and no longer understands modern girls. Euch ihre Chavertes, arme Sockenstrickerkes, und Henschke Näherkes. Also, her girlfriends, poor sewers of socks and of gloves, haben Moritz nicht vertragen, were unable to bear Moritz. Aber ihre Plimenitzes sprachen anders. But her nieces are thinking otherwise. Eine ist zugelassen, die zweite stößt kleiner Stopp von sich. One of them is too approachable, and the other one apparently is pushing off everyone from her. Nor jede will auf ihr Ufen, auf ihr Eufen, reingappen aman. But each one of them wishes, in her own way, to um, uh, to grab a husband. Meger sein a Moishke Cyrulnik, even if he's a person like Moshe Cyrulnik. Es seht euch, wie sie wollten ihr Leben genommen für ein Beispiel, sich zu führen verkehrt. It appears that they would be taking her Meryl's life as an example to acquit themselves opposite, wie sie hat sich geführt, to the way she, Meryl, has managed. Meryl is glücklich, was ihre Mischpache es hotsch nicht von ihren mischugener Gedanken wegen Polotzker Dayen. Meryl is happy that her family at least doesn't know anything about her crazy thoughts about the Polotzker Dayen. Golda is Gewinner Kleininke. Now, who is Golda again?
Well, I think Golda is one of Meryl's two sisters.
Or the Golda and Gittel? Okay, could be. Golda is Gewinner Kleininke mit hastige Bewegungen. Golda was small in stature, short, with quick motions, und a Schreierke, and she was a person who would call out loudly. In ganz nicht ähnlich zu ihre zwei ältere Schwester, in completely opposite to her older sisters. Yes, it must be. So she's the youngest then. Gutte und Meryl, her older sisters, Gutte and Meryl. Gekommen ist sie, Batog, wenn die Plemenitses haben gearbeitet, wenn die Schwester seine gewesen allein. She came in the middle of the day when her nieces were at work and her sisters were there on their own. Get him up, dein Mann. You should divorce him, your husband. Al solche Mannen soll man Gedicht sehen, und sie sollen Schitter wachsen. That sort of a person who should be sown like seed thickly, but thinly they should grow. Hat Golda gleich angeheuben kriegerisch und mit Kass. That's how Golda began immediately in a fighting manner and angrily. A wildet Sieg bist du gewesen, and a wildet Sieg bist du geblieben. You, Meryl, you were just a wild goat, and you've still remained a wild goat. Karge 16 Jahre abgesessen an a man. For almost 16 years, you managed, or you sat alone without a husband. And some Sof genommen a Teugenichts. And at the end, you married a good for nothing, a Feldhasen, a cemetery cantor, a Wandschmierer, a wall smearer. Du hast doch mich zugerät. Ich soll mit dem Rassener gehaben. But you convinced me to marry him. Der soll wissen, als is a Flaskedrige. Well, who knew that he was a Flaskedrige? Whatever a Flaskedrige might be.
I couldn't find it in the dictionary.
I'm just looking in my own. A Flaskedrige, a religious zealot, or a loafer.
Thank you.
Krank is gewesen, gain verdienen? Is he too sick to go earn an honest living? Klein is gewesen, euch drappen die Rabbonen, die Eugen? Was he too small to scratch out the eyes of the rabbis? Zet, as a ganze Stadt geht auf redlich. Mit trug darum sein Weib auf tellerlich. He can see that the entire town is as if on wheels, carrying around his wife as if on plates. Und der Bock mitten Berdel, this billy goat with a little beard, this fellow, geht und Patakovit. He's just going around and what is Patakovit?
Apparently agrees, I think, with what I saw.
Yeah, I don't have Patakovit in my dictionary. Sorry. Okay. Um, he agrees then. Schockelt zu mit dem Kopf and he nods his head as man hat ihm unglücklich gemacht, that he has become unhappy. Es ist ihm nicht zu verdenken. Uh, it's not it's not his fault. It's for him not to now verdenken. How are you going to understand that?
He's
To
not,
blame. Yeah. It's not his fault. It's not him to blame. A ganze Stadt redt euch auf sein Weib. Was in der Court steht. The whole town is speaking about his wife. Now, was in der Court steht means absolutely everything. Hat sich eingebrochen, and he is broken down. Gefindt Goethe a good word. Euch war ihr Schwager kommen. That's how Goethe, the sister, finds a good word also for her brother-in-law, Kalman. As mit a Goethe, essen die Wärm. If someone's that good, the worms eat him, schreit Golda after ältere Schwester. Golda screams at her older sister, Meryl, or maybe her older sister, Goethe. I don't know. Dein Motje, yeah, she's screaming at Goethe. Dein Motje hat keinmal nicht gesorgt für dir und deine Kinder. Your husband Motje, he never worried about you or your children. Nur als hat sich herausgelost über der Medina, Sharon and Golan, but when he went out around the boondocks to cut hair and to shave, remember he was unsuccessful at every local barbershop. He lost his job at all of those, so he went outside the city to do his work. Es du sich auf, a lebedike, was schreit nicht. So now you're eating yourself alive that he is not writing. Bei mir wollt dein Mann gekeit die Erd. If it were my case, if it were my husband, then your husband would have been chewing earth. Und Kalmanen wollte ich mit a Besem herausgejagt, gleich auf morgen. And Kalman, I would have chased him out with a broom immediately the next day. Und du leidst wenig von dein Scheike? And are you suffering less from your husband's Scheike? Wundert sich Goethe. Goethe marvels. Durch sich, als du allein erzählst, ständig, seems to me that you're always recounting, als in dein Mann hat sich zu neu gechavert mit Moritzen, that ever since your husband became buddies with Moritz, geht nicht weg der Tag, ihr sollt sich beide nicht kriegen. The day does not go by that you do not fight with each other. Aber Golda krimmt sich und malt wie a Melnitze. But Golda puts on a crooked face, I guess. She grimaces. Und malt wie a Melnitze. And she paints like a Melnitze. Now, a Melnitze, I'm looking for Melnitze. I don't have it. Mel is flour.
flour, yeah.
So what's a Melnitze?
I wonder if Mullen doesn't mean grinds like.
Ah, right. She grinds like the wife of a mill owner.
Right.
That could well be. Yeah, Mullen has too many meanings.
Interesting. But Mullen can mean grind. Yeah.
Yes, it can. It's what the mill owner does. And she grinds like a like a mill owner's wife. A gleichenish. Is that a comparison? Gottesmann, der Gicher Pamelech, Kalman Sheps, und ihre Scheike. Uh, so a gleichnis. Is there any comparison? Gottesmann is the quick, slow fellow, and Kalman Sheps, Kalman the sheep, und ihre Scheike, and her husband Scheike. Ihr Mann is allemal gewen a Pratsoviter Jingle. Her husband was always a working boy. That's how I'm going to understand it. Pratza means work in Slavic languages. Mernet, zeitenweise is gewen a Stickelfeiler. It just happens that at times he was a little bit lazy. Un a kalter Malach. And he was a cold angel. Nur sinds sein Chaver Moritz hat weggeworfen trinken. But since his buddy Moritz uh, threw himself into drink, is Scheike geworden a Verbittener. Scheike also has become changed. Still wie a Kotchinke, as quiet as a Kotchinke. A Kotchinke is what?
Pussycat.
What is it?
Cat, a pussycat.
A pussycat. Okay, thank you. Yeah. Geht nicht raus von Stub. He stays at home. Sitzt und arbeitet. He's sitting and he's working.
Yeah, I think you left out, you probably meant it, but you said it differently. I think since his comrade Moritz gave up drinking,
Oh, hat Wort geworfen trinken. Thank you. That's not how I understood it, and I think you're right. Since Moritz set aside drinking, Scheike has also become changed. Right. Thank you. And now he starts working. Scheike, the working lad who sometimes is lazy. Why don't you pick up now with Moritz?
Oh, okay. Moritz hat weggeworfen trinken. Moritz has really stopped drinking. Dein Mann sitzt und arbeitet. And your husband is actually sitting and working. Mashiach Zeiten, the time of the Messiah has come. Quetscht Guter mit an Achsel. Guter shrugs her shoulders. Merrill hat gar nicht gesagt. Merrill said nothing. Nor sich scharf eingeguckt in Golden, was hat keinmal früher dem Tirolnik Nomen Niedermond on Mabel Claudius. Merrill didn't say anything, but sharply looked at Golda, who has never previously mentioned Cyrulnik's name without a flood of curses. It's tot sie in Eilenisch und klommert verbeigendig azog.
Verbeigehendig.
Oh, verbeigehendig, thank you. Verbeigehendig azogeton as Moritz hat aufgehört trinken. And now she said quickly and as if just in passing that Moritz has stopped drinking. Merrill hat gewartet, als die Melnitzer soll wieder nehmen wollen und rauskommen mit die Burim. Merrill waited for the bull woman to start grinding away again and speak clearly in her speech. Aber Golda hat aufgehört reden, also Raptum, wie sie hat angeheben. But Golda stopped speaking as suddenly as she had started und ist euch Raptum weggegangen and also left as suddenly. Wieder 2 Tage später ist sie noch einmal reingefallen und gleich angefangen mit einem Geschrei, but 2 days later she she dropped in again and right away started with yelling, Nu merke, so merke, was it's to meet verlegte hand? Why are you sitting with folded hands? Get him up, divorce him, dein Schlimazel, you're good for your loser. The Jordan stehen nicht. The years don't wait. Either du wirst dich herumgucken, before you look around, wirst du werden eine alte Jidin, you'll become an old woman. Leb auf der Welt und sollen deine Sonne im Platzen von Kindern. Live it up and then let your enemies burst from jealousy. Und wer wird mich ausschnappen? Who will grab me? Was ich darf sich eilen, im aufzugetten. And who will have me that I really need to hurry up to divorce him? Und Meryl geforscht mit Funken in die Augen. Meryl searched with sparks in her eyes. Moritz wird dich ausschnappen. Moritz will grab you, what Golda ausgeschossen, Golda shot out with words. Die hat mehr kein Koch nicht gehabt, dich einzuhalten. She didn't have any more strength to restrain herself. Meryl hat sich auf den Antwort gerichtet. Meryl was anticipating the answer, aber Guter hat ausgespielt, but Guter spat out. When ihre Sohnin zu sehr leben, and and uh, and to her enemies, it should happen to her enemies, to their body and to their life.
Yeah,
Uh,
Leib und Leben. Leib.
Live, yeah, like this is live,
It
yeah.
has to be Leib. Yeah.
They would be a lion, yeah.
Yes.
Uh, to their life, thank you, 11, to their body and life. Ayid leidet sich nicht so viel von einer Goy, ein Antisemit, wie viel Merrill hat übergelitten von Moritzen. A Jew doesn't suffer as much from a Gentile, even an anti-Semite, as much as Merrill has suffered from Moritz. Heint, wie kann man Gor bringen auf die Lippen, als sie so vor ihm hassen haben? So, how is it possible? I don't think Heintu means today. I think it means, is it really possible? But I stand open to correction.
Well, Hein can mean after all.
Yeah, after all, thank you. After all, how can one um, bring it to one's lips that she should marry him? Taka really, what Golda gezegd, und der Zuckerentwer hat schon gebrennt auf ihre Lippen. Really, and Golda um, was, was joking in the clever answer that was already burning on her lips. Die hat gehört von ärgere Sachen. She's heard of worse things. Die hat gehört von Menschen, was harkenen die Frauenzimmer, was sie haben lieb. She has heard about people who have killed their lovers. Als was Moritz hat getan, everything that Moritz has done, hat getan von reiner Liebe zu merken. He has just done from pure love for Merker. Alle seine Jorden ist ausgegangen, nur durch ihre Tritt, und sie hat ihm von sich abgetrieben. All his years, he was gegangen. He really wanted her. He coveted her, and she drove him off. Hat von Bitterness getrunken. So from his bitterness, he started drinking. Gemacht Skandalen und euch Shaken übergerät zu sein Schilder.
Shilua.
Shilua, thank you. And out of his bitterness, he started drinking and he made scandals and also persuaded Shaker to be a good for nothing, Shilua. Okay. It's geworden in ganzen anderen. Now he's become completely different. Niet trinkt alleen, wenn niet lost ihr Shaken nehmen in Moel. He doesn't drink and he doesn't allow Shaker to take a drink in his mouth. Men zal zeggen, you can even say a cup rompen, a small amount of liquor. Is genoeg lang gesessen op Bocher. He has been a bachelor long enough and sich gefolgert and wandered around. But ist sein a man mit gold zugleich. He will now be a husband like gold. Und von wann weißt du, als wird mich nehmen? And how do you know that he will take me? What Merrill says, noch gefragt, Merrill inquired, wie von ihr seid, wollt schon kein Ophalt nicht gewähren, as if there would be no obstruction from her side. Hat gar nicht kein Meure für die Rabbonim und für ganz Stadt. He isn't frightened of the rabbis and the whole town. Golda hat als der Autumn gehabt. Golda almost became speechless or Autumn held her breath. Als hij geschwind hat sie geredet. Uh, she so probably held her breath. She spoke so quickly. Moritz lacht sich heus von aller Rabbonim und von ganz Stadt. Moritz laughs at the uh, really mocks the rabbis, and he doesn't care about what the town thinks. Gaze up Marilyn, go and tell Merrill what he said. Gaze up Marilyn, als nog alle Chechotkes that was he hat mir ungemacht. Go and tell Merrill that after all the, I think it's another word for TB, that of all the troubles or illness, do you agree that Chechotka is TB?
I don't see it. I don't know. Clearly, it means something like trouble. Shechotka.
Because Sukhota is TB.
Right.
Yeah. Anyway, I couldn't find it in the dictionary. So I did the closest word I could think of. Was he what mir ungemacht that of all the troubles that she created for me, habe ich sie noch mehr lieb wie amor. I even love her now more than I loved her before.
Yeah, I find in Justus's Dutch dictionary that he translated as tuberculosis.
Okay, well, good guess. Uh, um, Also sagt und schwert sich mit alles, was in der Welt, so he says, and he swears by all the oaths in the world, und schlägt sich mit dem Fäust in Herzen and beats his breast und weint mit Emerson Tränen and cries with real tears, as es ist Arachmonas zu gucken, that it is a pity to see how distressed he is. Gay zog Merrill, go and tell Merrill, sagt he says, als Gott alle spyen auf ihr plek, that although all are spitting at her, denigrating her, what is Kleck? I couldn't find.
A kleck is an ink blot. Spying off a kleck is to berate someone.
Yeah, that although everyone is denigrating her, ob ich sie lieb, Marilyn, I love her, sagt oh no, ob ich sie lieb, wie das Leben, I love her like my own life, und will sich für ihr schlagen wie ein Leib, and I will fight like a lion for her. Thomas sagt perhaps, he says, wir wollen nicht kennen Einsein in Vilna. Perhaps we won't be able to remain in Vilna. Einsein.
Yeah.
Wollen wir antläufen auf jener Seite. We'll go across the ocean. Kein Geld fällt mir nicht. I'm not short of money. Nor ich will sehen, but I want to see wer es wird sich der Regen abpipst tun. but I'd like to see who will dare to even to squeak about this. Or das ist am Anspiel. That is a real guy. Moritz is not Coleman. Moritz is not Coleman. Skarpetka, Abeged, um, Poland, Maluch, Skarpet, socks are clothing. Poland, Malucha. Poland is a kingdom, and Coleman, Mansfield. So the same as socks are not clothes, and Poland isn't a kingdom, so Coleman is not a real man. I think I probably should stop there if you want to carry on.
Okay, that's an interesting expression.
Yeah,
Skarpetka beged poilen malucha.
yeah.
Bis Golda hat abgerät, while Golda was finishing speaking, hat Merel sich Pamelech aufgestellt. Merel slowly got up. Ausgegleicht dem Rücken, she straightened her back, und gezählt die Wörter, and she measured her words. Zeit zurückgehen in Stub. It's time for me to go back home. Und Kalman hat noch nicht gefunden kein Dire. If Kalman has not yet found a place to live, soll ich bleiben wohnen mit ihm. Then I'll remain and live with him. Sie hat noch gewollt endigen, als sie so viele gerät wohnen mit dem Teivel, aber nicht mit Moschke Zirolnik. She also wanted to end what she was saying, that even she's even ready to live with the devil as long as she didn't have to live with Moschke Zirolnik. Noch Golda hat von ihr Handbeitel herausgehabt dem Schlüssel von Merels Wohnung, but Golda took out of her handbag the key to Meryl's apartment, und erzählt, als sie hat allein Seichel gehabt, gerne guckt an, that she herself had had the wisdom to give go look was der Held Kalman kleibt sich tan, to find out what that hero Kalman is planning to do. Hat sie gefunden die Tiere verschlossen und dem Schlüssel bei Schreiner. She found that the door was locked and the key was at the neighbors. Du hast gefunden den Schlüssel bei Schreiner, oder du hast Kalman herausgetrieben. Now, did you actually find the key at a neighbor's, or did you drive Kalman away? Hat Merel lang angeguckt, die Schwester. Merel stared for a long time at her sister. Wer? Ich hab immer rausgetrieben? What? Who? I would drive him away? Hat Golda mit Quitsch sich gehabt beim Hals. Golda grabbed at her heart with a squeak. Ich bin nur einmal gewesen im Fregen, wenn kleibt sich heraus. I was just going once to ask when he is planning to go to leave. Und wenn ich bin gekommen das zweite Mal, and when I arrived that second time, habe ich den Schlüssel gefunden bei der Schreiner. It's then that I found the key at the neighbors. Du hast sehr nicht fein gehandelt, meine Schwester. What you did was very not nice, my sister. Ist Gutte geblieben sitzen mit der abgelosten Hand und sich gehäschet. Gutte remained sitting with her hands down, and she now gehäschet. Heschen is to sob, and she sobbed. Na, was weinst du? Hat Golda a Geschrei getan. Silly one, what are you crying about? Golda screamed. Und sich euch zerweint, and she also fell into tears. Ich hab doch sie nicht gescheit. I didn't separate them. Nor wie bald as Merke is von ihm weg, but seeing that Merke had left him, will ich, as ihr Wund soll sich was gicher verheilen. I was just trying to make sure that her wound would be healed all the quicker. Merel hat nicht gekannt weinen und nicht opentferen golden. Merel was unable to cry and she could not answer Golda. Wieder Moishke Cyrilnik. It's again coming to Moishke Cyrilnik, hat sie getracht, she was thinking. Hat es untergeschickt Golden Aroistreiben Kalman. It was he who had sent Golda to drive Kalman away. Ob aber der Auswurf hat übergerät ihre Schwester. But if this Auswurf, it's worse than good for nothing, if this terrible fellow had managed to convince her sister, was kennen so viel Jahren, who knew Moishke for so many years, is doch kein Wunder, was hat übergerät dem ehrlichen Kalman. It's no wonder that he managed to convince the honest Kalman, as he is given sein Geliebte, that she, Merel, had been Moritz's lover. Sie hat die ganze Zeit gedenkt, nur wegen Polotsker Dayan. For the whole time, she was just thinking about the Polotsker Dayan, und vergessen a Trachtan, and she'd forgotten to give a thought, as auf an eigenem Mann is Eucher Rachmanis, that her husband is also deserving of pity. Right, the next chapter is called Isaac Barash. Isaac Barash. This is, as I remember, one of the Cyrilnik's good friends.
Yeah.
Der langer darer Stubmaler, Isaac Barash. The tall, thin house painter, Isaac Barash, hat gelebt mit sein vergangener Gedule. He lived with his vergangene Gedule, the greatness of in his past. Mit der Zeit, wenn hat gedient bei die Russen in Soldaten. Back at the time when he was serving in the military with the Russians. Gedient hat bei die schwere Harmaten. He had served next to the heavy cannons. Und ist noch gewesen bei die Deutschen in Gefangenschaft. And after that, he was held prisoner, captive by the Germans. This is in the First World War? No, it has to be before that. Hat lieb gehabt, der erzählen, wie ihm hat gepasst der Mundier. He loved to recount how his uniform had fit him well. Von an Mundier von an Artillerist, his uniform of an artillery soldier. Und welche Heldigkeiten hat bewiesen auf die Fronten, and the sorts of heroic deeds he had accomplished on the front. Die Malieres haben von seinem Meises gelacht. The other painters just laughed at his stories. Geht in a verschmiert Zerdrehtitel. Now he's walking around in a smeared and turned about little hat, in a Kurzreckel, in a short coat, und schmolle Häusen, and narrow pants. Erzählt sie von einem Mundier, and he's talking to them about a uniform. Als macht das Schneppel, reißt ihm sein Weib unter die Seiten. Now machen a Schneppel. Is that a schnapps?
I assume so.
Yeah. When he takes a little drink, then his wife reißt ihm unter die Seiten. Not quite sure about that expression. His wife literally pulls at him under his sides.
That undermines him.
Yeah, maybe undermines him. That works, I think. Der erzählt sei, was für a Shimshner Gibber ist gewesen in der Milchama. But he tells them what sort of a Samson the strong he was during the war. Isaacel hat sehr gelitten, was man der Montim als sein Weib schlagt him. Isaacel really suffered when people reminded him that his wife was beating him. ist selten gegangen auf der Börse von den Maljares. So he seldom came to the work exchange of the house painters. Also wie sein Jidene is given a Händlerke, just as his wife was a merchant woman, und vielleicht kommen von Mark erst auf der Nacht, and she would come home from the market only when it got dark. Is ganze Tag gelegen auf dem Geleger. He remained on his bed all day long, die Hand unter den Kopf, with his hands under his head, und geguckt auf den Balkon, and he looked up at the ceiling. Aber von liegen ganze Tag und nicht haben mit wem ein Wort zu reden, but from lying for whole days long and not having anyone to talk to, is him given teutumatic. He became very distressed, unhappy. Darüber hat sich stark gefreut, and that's why he became quite happy. Denn einmal ist Gor umgerecht zu ihm hereingekommen Kalman Metis. When once, completely unexpectedly, Kalman Metis showed up at his place. Kalman hat ihm erzählt, Kalman told him, als zergeht sich mit dem Weib, that he is separating from his wife. Und sucht a Winkel bei jenem. And he's looking for a corner to live in at someone else's house. Weil für a ganzer Dire hat nicht zu zahlen, because he doesn't have the money to pay for an entire apartment. Isaacl und sein Weib wollen Maskim sein. If Isaacl and his wife would be agreeable, wird sich hereinkleiben zu see. He would move over to their place. Kein anderer Freund hat nicht. He doesn't have any other friends. Okay, Michael.
Okay. Kleib sich herein, guter Bruder, kleib sich herein. Come inside, good brother. Hat sich Isaacl aufgesetzt auf dem Geleger der Freiter. Isaacl sat himself up on his bed. He was happy, he was made happy by the entrance of someone. Wir wollen sein zwei Gufim und eine Shoma. We will be two bodies but one soul. In Kazaba habe ich euch gehabt als Achaber. In the barracks I also had such a friend. Wir haben gegreicht von
Gereichert.
wir haben gereichert von ein Peckel Machorka und gegessen von ein Kessel. We smoked from one package of tobacco and ate from one saucepan.
Yeah, Machorka is kind of a low quality tobacco.
What the soldiers got, yeah.
Yeah.
Ich bin gedrückt in Geld. I am short of money. Nur ich will zahlen, wie viel du wirst nicht, wie viel du wirst. Sorry, I got the wrong thing here. Ich will zahlen, wie viel du wirst nicht, no, sorry. Ich will zahlen, wie viel du wirst heißen. I will pay as much as you ask. Hat Kalman gesagt, Far Umerter, very gloomy, Kalman said, und was wird sagen dein Weib? What will your wife say? Sie wird nicht sein dagegen, she won't be against it. Und sie wird sein dagegen, ob ich für ihr meure. And if she is against it, I'm not really frightened of her. Du hörst Kalman, du hörst Kalman. Wenn ich habe gedient in Soldaten, when I served in the military, habe ich gehabt Chanel hart wie Blech. I had a military coat as hard as tin. Als du hast ihn weggestellt, when you put it away, ist gestanden von sich allein. It stood up on its own. Kannst öfter bei deinem Weib werden. Perhaps you can manage to carry through with your wife. Sie soll nicht sein Darkegen ich soll wohnen by, that perhaps you can carry through with your wife that she should agree to my coming to stay here. Ich will ausführen, I'll carry it through, guter Bruder, good brother. Ich will ausführen, I will carry it through. Du herrschst Kalmenke. Ich bin einmal gestanden auf Karaul. Uh, Once upon a time, I stood in the guardhouse und man, hat man mir angesagt, keinem nicht durchlassen. And they told me not to let anyone through and nicht dort durchlassen und nicht
Is
durchlassen. Uh,
is nicht durchlassen.
and not letting through means not getting through. So I see a spazierter Huhn. I saw a hen walking. Nazad Shaykh. I'm not sure what Nazad is, but
Most
I,
likely halt.
oh, yeah, Haltaschat. Um, macht sie sich nicht wissentlich. She pretends not to. Hier nehme ich und stech sie auf den Bayonet. So I stabbed her with my bayonet. Come morgen, come tomorrow, Kalmanka.
Yeah, Nazad means go back.
Okay.
I just looked it up.
But halt sounds,
Halt sounds very nice. Yeah.
um, uh, come morgen, come tomorrow, Kalmanka. Will ich schon haben gerecht mit mein Arura. I will already have spoken to my shrew. Gleich bekommen geht Avec, as soon as Coleman left, stellt Isaac Larope auf die Horika Borgus of Feast, when them suchen die Sheikh. Isaac stands up and puts his hairy feet uh, on the ground and starts looking for his shoes. Und tut sich on and gets dressed, setzt Larope auf den Kopf das ausgeschmierte Hittel, puts his smeared hat on when Gitzich los durch die Gassen zum Holzmark, and he um, gets going through the streets to the wood market, aufsuchen Moschka Cyrulnik, looking for Moschka Cyrulnik. Moritz hat ihm noch nicht abgegeben, die zugesuchte Quart Brompton mit dem Zubeiß waren zureden kommen, soll abgetten das Weib. Moritz still hasn't given him. He promised a quart of liquor with uh, a meal for having persuaded Coleman to divorce his wife. It is article weinig, uh, weinig Antwort. Now he is one picture short. Article is one picture short. He's
No, no.
over,
Now for Isaac, one quart is not enough.
oh, that's right. Yeah, it's not enough. Set for die Augen a ganze Schenk mit voller Fläscher. He sees in front of him a bar with uh, full flasks of was Moritz wird bestellen that Moritz will order for alle gute Brüder, for all the good fellows. Und man wird sich einander and you will celebrate together über Vilna ganze 7 Tage und 7 Nächte. They will celebrate in Vilna the whole of 7 days and 7 nights. Isaac kommt auf den Holzmarkt. Isaac comes to the wood market, sucht op Moritz and looks for Moritz und erzählt ihm die freudige Neues and tells him the happy news. Als hat bei Coleman Sheps gepoilt, soll sich zu gehen mit dem Vibe that he has achieved, that he has persuaded Moritz to separate from his wife. It's der Weg zu der Aguna frank und frei, und frei, I think would be better.
Yeah, frei.
Yeah. And now it's the road, the path is open to the AGUNE. It's totally clear. Moishke Cyrilnik vermacht sein rechte Auge. Moishe Cyrilnik closes his right eye und das linke Auge wird bei ihm doppelt groß and the left eye becomes twice as large. Is women erzählst du das mir? Are you telling me something new? Alle wissen, als gleich wie mein gewissener Color wird abgeht in dem Ships, everybody knows that as soon as my um, once upon a time bride will divorce the sheep. Pravin Mira Chasna, we will celebrate a wedding in Bunimovich's hall, in Bunimovich's halls. Der Teil der mir als der Weg is frei. So you're telling me that the road is open, implying I know it anyway. Article said as der Tirolnik will umsetzen dem zugesorgten Schnaps. Article sees that he's not going to get, I think, to umsetzen is bankrupt, but will
Yeah.
not provide him with the promised drink. Macht sich Kamabata, he makes himself simple and fragt by Moritzen and Eitza and asks advice from Moritz. Kalman wird sich bei ihm, soll ihm reinnehmen, nächtigen. Kalman is asking him whether he can uh, come to him to sleep in his apartment. Ob soll dem Chef reinnehmen. If can haben Zorus von sein Arura, but if he takes Kalman in, he can have trouble with his shrewish wife. Ob wird dem Chefs nicht getort, uh,
Nicht reinnehmen.
wird dem Chefs nicht reinnehmen. But if he won't take the sheep in, but müssen bleiben wohnen bei seinem Weib, you have to remain staying with his wife. Die Aguna, when Moritz wird also können zukommen zu sein gewesene Kalle wie zur Krepost, and he will and Moritz will be able to come to his once upon a time bride as he could come into a fortress. Is wie soll tun? So what should he do? Moritz often das vermachte Eug und verschummert das aufgerissene Eug. Moritz opens his closed eye and half closes or squints with his staring eye. Von seinetwegen, from his part, sagt he says, can Isaacel ja reinnehmen dem Chefs oder ihm nicht reinnehmen. He can either take the Chefs in or not take him in. When it makes they beiden nehmen die Erde, and they can both, the earth can take them both. They can both go to hell, in other words.
But it's interesting. This is typical of curses, using the same verb as you just used in a regular sense in a curse. So reinnehmen, nehmen die Erde. So using the same verb nehmen as part of the curse part.
Wife ships, let's see. Okay. Ob der Chefs wird sich nicht wollen rauskleiben von Merrills Dira mit Guten. If the Chefs won't leave voluntarily in a good way from Merrill's apartment, wird man ihm raustrogen in Leilacher, they will carry him out in sheets. He'll come to a bad end. Wie lange as long as he, Moritz, is given a Bocher, as long as he, Moritz, has been a bachelor, hat sich gelost von die Maliaris melken. He allowed the painters to take advantage of him, to milk him. It's does geht Chasna haben. Now when he's getting married, hat Bilchere, he has more important Sachen are forced to potter and geld. He has more preferable things on which to spend his money, waste money. Whereas past dem mehr gebruikt niet om te toon met die Borbisse. And it doesn't suit him anymore, especially to have to deal with those who the bare feet with the poor people. What are weggeworfen drinken? He's thrown away. He's given up drinking. And sein einziger emisser Chaber and his only true friend, sein Kalles his bride's um, brother-in-law,
That's Shaika.
Shaker, yeah. What euch weggeworfen trinken has also given up drinking. Aber brechen sein Wort, was hat gegeben sein Talent, nicht zu nehmen, alle Konnten, und sich weigern in Schenk mit die Vorbisse. So will he break his promise to his that he's given to his bride, and to give up drinking, not to take a drop of brandy, and to and no longer wander around in the tavern with the barefoot people. Het is door een spreekwoord. There's a saying, Anar is Isaac. Anar is Isaac. Isaac is a fool. Is that a, are you aware of a saying like that?
Um, yes, I think so. It's because in the Bible, Isaac can't distinguish his two sons, Yaakov and Esav.
Oh, okay. So is he actually called a nar, a fool?
Well, the Hebrew word isn't nar because that's not Hebrew. I don't know.
Okay, that's interesting. Es ist aber nicht kein Sprichwort, as a nar is Moritz, but there's no saying that Moritz is a fool. I think I can stop here.
David Katz is here.
Oh, yeah.
Oh,
Cyrillic. Ja. Die Cyrillic dreht sich ab mit der harter Plätze und Isaacl versteht, dass für ihn ist gleicher mit Cyrillic nicht anzuheben. Cyrillic turns around with a hard shoulder. I guess he shrugs his shoulders, I guess. And Isaac understands. So I should, I guess, shrugs his shoulders. Isaac understands that for him, it is, I guess, gleicher, preferable not to get involved with Cyrillic to begin with it, get involved with him. Ruft sich heraus von Holz, Mark, und guckt rüber auf der anderen Seite, Savannahgas. He moves out, he leaves, I guess, he walks away from the wood market and looks over to the other side of Savannah Street, who is staying the Meliares, where the painters are standing. Nudgen sich und patchen sich mit die Hand über die Achsel. I guess, nudge, they're patchen sich, they're I guess talking with their hands and poking each other with their hands. I don't know. Good to Werte off English for that. They're patchen sich at the hand, über on their shoulders, patting each other on the back, I guess. Sich zu der Warmen. Sich zu, yeah, to I guess, kind of warm up.
Yeah, it's winter time.
Okay. Yeah, okay. Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah. Kein Schnee ist noch als nicht gefallen. The snow is fallen yet, nor die Steine seinen Asch weiß von Frost, but the stones were white from all the frost. Und der Himmel ist bläu geschliffen wie Ice auf an ozera, and the sky is polished blue like ice on a lake, on ozera. Isaac guckt auf seine kurze, schmale Häusen. Isaac looks down at his short, I guess, narrow pants, short.
Yeah, tight pants.
Tight pants, yes, tight, schmale. Auf die Onyches, was kriechen heraus von seiner zerdrehte Schicht. At the, I guess the Onishkas are the socks, what crawl, the Onishkas, I don't, yeah, ich weiß nicht.
I'll look up Onyches. It looks like it's a Slavic word here.
Onishkas would come out from his torn up shoes. When ihr nehmt wieder Glutzen auf der Moliarska Birja, and he once again, Glutzen, because he slides into the painter's market, Birja. Zet dort nicht kein Balabos, was soll suchen Bal Molocha zu schmieren.
Okay. An onich is a part of a sock. I don't know what part of the sock, but according to Stuchkov, it's a part of one's sock. So maybe it's the toes. Let's imagine it's the toes.
Probably his toes are sticking out from his sock toes are sticking out from his feet. That makes sense. Onishka, yeah, something with socks, but I don't. A lot of words for shoes. I don't know. Anyway, so he sees there. He doesn't see the owner, the person in charge.
No, here balabos here means a householder.
Householder, yeah.
And you'll see why as you look further.
Which should, but looking for a tradesperson to, to paint up or to a few walls. Und stehen dort stam zoi, die hever soll von ihm oplaken wie von kalmen Scheps. And standing there, just like so, the Hevra, the other people, would make fun of him like they do, like Kalman Sheps, but he doesn't want that. Will nicht. He doesn't want that, so he wants to look, I guess.
And notice stehen is in the infinitive. To stand around.
To stand, yeah. To stand around like that, he doesn't want to be made fun of, so wants to look like he's doing something. He doesn't want that. Will nicht. Zieht unter das Hittel über den Stern. So he pulls his hat down over his forehead. Verrucht die lange Hand mit die kurze Arbo in die Keshenes und geht to him. And he pulls his long hands with the short sleeves, hands and shorts, and he puts his hands in his pockets and goes home. Wenn Kalman kommt auf den zweiten Tag, when Kalman comes on for the second day.
And the next day.
The next day, thank you. On the next day, Red Isaac Gor andere Deborah. Isaac talks about totally other matters.
No. Isaac speaks in a completely different manner.
In a different manner. Okay. Gor andere Deborah, yeah. Sein Aurora auf keinen Fall nicht reinnehmen seinem Freund. His, I guess, woman will.
The Aurora
is
well, it's shrew, you could say.
Yeah.
Xantippe. It, of course, is Hebrew. It means his cursed one.
Yeah, his cursed wife. Yes, I know. Trying to be more polite, but yeah, his he doesn't have a high opinion of this one. Yeah, the woman, his wife. His
she beats him.
Yeah. His shrewish wife, I guess that's probably a better way to translate it. Yes, you're correct. Thank you, Adank. Your shrewish wife will not, in any case, take any one of his friends in. Potter ihr erzählt, sein Freund ist nicht von die Maljares, die Shikram. He told her, he told her that his friend is not one of those drunk painters, one of the drunk ones, nor a Fulmer Yid is a good, upstanding, pious Jew. Der selber was hat früher Hasene gehabt mit der Agune und sich jetzt mit ihr zu gegangen. The same one which had earlier on, previously had married the Aguna, I guess the abandoned woman, and now, now he's Sagangan went away, left her,
separated.
Yeah, that's a better way of saying it. Separated from her. Weil die Rabbonim sagen as the Aguna had, because the rabbi said the Aguna, the abandoned divorcee, I guess, woman rather, Nish getort Hasanah. Well, the rabbis ruled that she's not eligible for marriage. She should not get married. That's why they separated. Hat sein Aurora ihm auf dem geantwortet. So his shrewish wife answered him, as a man was geht weg von still edel und ehrlich Bible, that a man that leaves or goes away from such a quiet, noble, honest woman, Bible, as a man hat nicht die Wert, men soll ihm arriberlosen überraschwell. That such a man, one does not have the worth or merit that one should even let him into your house, across the threshold of your house, your shvel. Soll sich oichtziehen, hat sie gesagt. So he should be just cast aside, pulled out, I guess. That's what she said. Du weißt was noch sie hat gesagt. Correct, Isaac. You know what? Do you know what?
What else?
Said, what else? Yeah, what else? What she said? Was, correct, Kalman mitten Oitzin una Barmishpatin. Kalman asks with the appearance of a judged one within I guess maybe in a judgmental way.
No, the appearance of someone who has been judged guilty.
As the guilty, yeah. Okay. Sie hat gesagt, als wenn ihr trefft, als a Greek, she said that when she encounters such luck, such fate, happiness, und ich komm nicht zurück von der Milchoma, wird sie getanzt in aller Gassen und nicht abgewahrt auf mir kein 100 zentlich Jahr. Wie die ehrliche Aguna hat abgewahrt, wie sie hat Hasana gehabt. Okay, so wow. Okay, so she said that she encounters such luck or fate that.
Yeah, the ear here is dative. If such a happy thing had happened to her.
When such a thing happens to her.
If such a thing had happened to her.
Yeah.
The then introduces a contrary effect.
If such a thing happened to her, that and I do not come back from a war, she would be dancing in all the streets and would not wait for me, even 1.5 Mondertauben, 1.5 decade. 1.5 decades of
because Merrill waited
years?
Merrill waited
15 years.
Merrill waited 16 years.
I
wouldn't have waited any 15 years.
15 years is kind of a long time to wait there. It's like, wow. Under Albert said, like, you are as this honest Aguna had waited until she had a wedding. She waited that long until she had a wedding. Du weißt was noch sie hat gesagt? Do you know what my Jewish wife said?
What else?
What else? What? Yeah. What? No. Was no. Was spreekt Common showing in ganzen der Sloganer. What else asks Common already totally kind of I don't know, oppressed or
Yeah,
depressed?
beaten down.
Beaten down.
Yeah.
Beaten down. That's a good way of saying it. Beaten down. He's already kind of beaten down. Yeah. Sie hat gesagt, als Moritz redt und Hund built is als eins. Oh, wow. So she says that when Morris speaks and a dog barks, it's all the same. It's nonsense. Okay, wow. Well, if she's MS was Morris erzählt, if it's true what Morris is telling us, as dein Vibe is gewesen sein geboten, und als hat mit ihr nicht gewollt stehen auf ein Brettel. So if it's true that Morris is saying that your wife was his lover and that he did not want to stand auf ein Brettel. He didn't want to stand in one board, weil sie hat hinter seiner Plätze gehabt andere. So für was geht jetzt mit ihr Hasnahoven? He didn't want to stand in one board auf ein Brettel because she behind his shoulders, behind his back, had others that's why he gets now that's why now he wants to have a wedding with her. So he wants to, I guess.
No, if it's true what he says, that he didn't want to stay with her for a minute because she had other lovers behind his back, then why is he wanting to get married with her now?
Well, Farvos, yeah. Why does he want to get married now? Yeah.
I think our time has arrived.